Hello, my little acorn crop. I'm back again with another video. This one I'm gonna do a tag video, which I don't know how well these sell. The last one I did didn't do that well. I don't think it was the Halloween tag. So this one's actually going to be the alternative girl tag or the goth girl tag. I don't know exactly what it was. I just had observed another YouTuber did it and thought, oh hey, they had a lot of wise things to say, so I thought, hey, I'll try it myself. And it was Skull Girdle. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but she's a YouTuber that I just started watching. The first question is, describe your style. Yeah, I don't know. I like to think of myself as goth. The next question is, how did you start wearing different clothes, hair, piercings, etc.? Well, I just started. It's kind of a strange question, how? But when I was young, I was not allowed to wear black. My father said it was only immature people wear black, and so I wore navy blue as close as I could get to black as I could. Really, my transformation into goth or whatever didn't happen until I was probably out of the house, so we're probably talking like college age. So I was a little behind on that, you know, and that's when I started wearing spikes, and I went to one of the thrift stores up here. It was local, Buffalo Exchange, and I bought a spiky bracelet, but it was on a brown strap, and I took off the brown strap. I went and I got all the fixture, you know, all the fittings and everything, and made a black strap that fit my arm perfectly, and that was my first spiky bracelet, and I still have it, and I actually wore it like last week. What else? So I was kind of dabbling in that. I was dyeing my hair darker colors, so my hair had always been blonde, and I went to like a burgundy color really briefly. Then I went back to my blonde color, but I started wearing like band t-shirts. Like I had this one with, I know it's not goth, but I had Marilyn Manson on it. I wore that shirt a ton. I also got a rosary from a thrift store, I think. I'm not even sure, an antique store. And so I wore this big black rosary with it, and I got a black leather jacket. I started wearing that, so I guess it was more of a punk kind of thing. Yeah, and then I started being interested in wearing, like, you know, leather or you call it vinyl, that kind of stuff. You know, so I was wearing that stuff more and more, but I didn't typically, like, I would dress more conservatively when I went home for, you know, visiting home and stuff like that. It wasn't until I came down to the valley to go to school at an art school that I really started changing things up. My hair was dyed burgundy again, and I wore black clothes. You know, I started wearing like different things. Like I had this burgundy shirt that had like spider webs on it that I got from Hot Topic. You know, I started thrift storing. You know, I already kind of knew how to sew, so I would buy, you know, I'd find something cool and I'd modify it for my needs. What else? Yeah, I think the shoes too. I started wearing like platform shoes and stuff like that, but they were heels, and then like combat boots, and then I guess from there it progressed, and I met my husband, who was, was goth. He listen to the right music, and he wore like a bondage belt all the time, and he had long hair, and he was goth. And so I kind of started being a little more gothic. I still wore red, and I started wearing chokers, and I'm not sure when I got my first choker. I think I was still with him, and not still with him, what do I mean? When I was initially with him, and it had spikes on it and a skull. I still have it. I still wear it all the time. And yeah, I just kind of from there started building my style. I started wearing a lot of black and velvet, and so I don't know. It was much more gradual for me, but I always kind of liked the darker stories or darker aspects of music. Like if there was a song that was like in minor chords or minor key about something kind of dark, then that was probably the song that I would like, even, no matter what genre it was. So I can't say that I was a hardcore goth in the 80s. I wish I could, but no, probably more the 90s. Did my parents accept my style? No. See, even though I was older, I think to my parents, I was the good child until I moved away and got married, so they probably blame my husband for all of this stuff, which is not his fault. It was there. It was just more like I had an outlet for it, that it was more accepted. So, no. What was I saying? Accepting of my style. No, my mom, one night, my roommate and I were going to a show, and my mom was living with us because she was at that point of an age where she needed to live with somebody to assist her with things. And my roommate and I were going to a show, and I had 3 pairs of tights on. And my mom looked at me and said I looked like a whore, and she looked at my roommate and said she looked dead, and that she wouldn't be caught dead like us. And varying times said stuff like my style of dress disgusted her. So yeah, she did not appreciate it at all. The whole thing with the 3 pairs of tights just cracked me up, because she's like, you look like a whore. I'm like, dude, I'm not even going to be able to pee tonight because I have 3 pairs of tights on. I'm never going to get them all back on. Let's see. Have you ever suffered bullying for being different? I have always been different. I have always been the outcast. Like on the island of misfit toys, I'm the outcast. So I've always been picked on. Always being picked on because I was different. I liked different things. I chose to dress differently, even if it was still within the realms of being more conservative. It was still slightly different, and now is no different. What I find now is that I'm so comfortable in my paradigm, and I'm so comfortable with my friends, that when somebody reacts to me in the way that one would think they would, that I'm kind of shocked. I'm like, what? Why do you think I'm stupid? Why do you think I don't have a job? Why do you think, oh, okay, I know. So, yeah, not so much now that I'm an adult. I think adults tend to have more shit to do or shit to worry about than, what the weirdo next door is wearing, or, that weird girl at work. But I am still, the weird girl at work, and I can't escape it if I wanted to, because I drive a hearse. It's like, not that I want to get away, not that I want to change anything, but yeah. What was the most outrageous look that I ever had? So I used to think it was when I was trying to do the cyber goth thing, and I had the dread falls, and I'd wear the goggles and the whole thing. And I think that I probably get more looks now with the mohawk than I ever did when I was doing the cyber goth thing. I had the freaking goggles and all this stuff, and the PVC, and the big boots and all that kind of stuff. No, I think it's now with the mohawk. I think people just are taken aback when they see a mohawk. I don't know, it's weird. I have any tattoos or piercings? What do you think? So I think in a past video when I got my daith done, I mentioned that all my piercings you can see all at once if I stick out my tongue. So that's it. Nothing else. Pretty boring on that front. Tattoo wise, I have like some of my eyeliner tattooed on. I of course have this arm. I have up to here on this arm. I have my back. I've got a tattoo here for the back of my head, the side of my head, and the one on my leg. So yeah, I do have tattoos and piercings. Although it's weird because like in my paradigm, all my friends have tattoos. So it's really weird for me to go somewhere where there's conservative people and none of them have tattoos and they're all looking at me like something's weird. And I'm like, what? Oh, that's right. It's kind of like when I pull up to 7-Eleven and I get out of the hearse and I go in and I'm like, why is everyone looking at me funny? Oh, yeah, I drove a hearse. Okay, yeah. What would I say to people who are suffering or being judged for how they look right now? Well, there was a quote that I particularly like, and right offhand, I can't remember who said it, but it was, you wouldn't worry so much about what people think if you realized how little they do. And I've always kind of lived my life under the assumption that people have other things to worry about than me, you know. And I think part of it though is because I don't know, I was bullied in school too. But see, at that point I just ignored everything. Like they could have lit me on fire and I would have ignored it. Just drowned everything out, you know. And looking back on that, I think I would have handled things differently, knowing now what I didn't know then. But when you're in school and or you're with family, you kind of gotta get along. You know, I hate to say that. I mean, there's two schools of thought. You either, you know, get along to get along, you know, you just conform to get along until you can get out on your own and do your own thing, or you can buck the system. But if you do buck the system, you're going to have to suffer the consequences of doing that. I think most people don't really give a shit about you or what you're wearing. I mean, any attention is good attention. So if they're pointing at you and laughing, that means you are outstanding in some way. Even perhaps not the way you want, but you're a memorable person. And that's the other thing I have never understood about, sorry, I have some little thought in my brain, about alternative people. They get mad at people that look at them. Okay, I have a mohawk, and I wear, you know, pretty much that makeup. So if people look at me, I know they're going to look at me. And it's weird when they don't look at me. And I find it more weird when I'm not dressed up like this, you know, like if I'm just having a lazy day and I run out of the house to go do something and then people look at me weird. I think that's weirder than when they look at me for looking weird. But if you're gonna look weird, you're just gonna have to deal with people looking at you and saying things about you or to you or yelling things at you. You know, I was wearing these really expensive boots from Penangelon Dreams. You know, I had them sent over from England and I still have them, and they were the coolest boots ever. And I had people yelling at me like, Halloween was last week or last month or 6 months ago or whatever. And it's like, and I automatically yell at them and say Halloween's every day. So what you need to do is find people that accept you for you. And like, my roommate and my husband are goth, or were formerly, I can't say formerly, but you know, were maybe more hardcore in the day with their parents, but the rest of my friends aren't, and they just accept me for me. And you know, I always try to be a good person. You know, and I hate to say that because I don't necessarily think I'm a good person, which might be a strange thing to say, but I always try to be good, and I always try to treat people with dignity and respect and honor, and I try to keep my word, and that's just how I try to live my life. And you know, if you are alternative, I personally believe you need to be kind, you need to show kindness, and you need to live with integrity, honor, and respect. And if other people treat you bad, it's a lot of how they are on the inside. Because to a certain extent, people are going to be jealous of anyone who decides to live their own way and live their truth and to live their joy. People are going to stop you from that because a lot of people are fucking miserable. So you need to find your joy and your strength, and stop thinking about what people or stop caring about what people think about you. I don't particularly care what people think about me. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of people think I'm stupid. I think, you know, a lot of people probably think that this is a bad fashion choice, and that I don't have a job, and I don't have a life, and I'm mooching off my parents, which both of my parents have passed on now, so I can't be mooching off of them anymore. I never did. I've always had a job. I have a job now. I've worked at the same place for 12 years, I think, going on 12 years, and it's not the best job. I mean, I'm not making millions of dollars, but I am making a pretty good check. You know, been able to progress in my life to a position where I can own things, and I have a job, and you know, I've worked at the place that I work at for so long, I don't think that anyone's surprised anymore by what I do. If I was getting a job somewhere else, maybe I would need to reassess things. I probably need to wear long sleeves. I probably need to do something with my hair, since it's, you know, it's shaved on the sides. I mean, that's kind of the style now, but with a lot of people, but you know, I probably couldn't, you know, shave it down to the skin anymore. I probably need to, I don't like it when it's really grown in like this, but I couldn't be bothered to deal with it. I believe in freedom. I believe that you are clever enough and smart enough to make your own decisions and take the consequences that are dealt out. And you have to realize that you're receiving consequences based on your decisions. So it's up to you how you want to live. You know, if you want to live a lie and die inside, that's up to you. If you want to live your truth and your joy, and maybe you got to take a few lickings, but in the end you're going to be fulfilled, then do that. That was incredibly long. I don't know that I have any other wisdom to share. I wouldn't change a thing. I only wish that I had known about wigs sooner, because I was always dyeing my hair I wanted blue hair black hair with blue streaks, or blue hair, or whatever color, and if I had a wig, if I'd known about wigs, I would have just fucking bought some wigs and called it a day and not dyed my hair. And the thing is, I wouldn't get a wig because my mom, she was always like, you have to have a custom made wig, you can't just go and buy one, blah blah blah. Yeah, like that big poofy one that I wear, the trad goth looking one. That's a fucking Halloween wig that I backcombed, teased up like that. I mean, it cost me maybe $12. So wigs, people. Wigs are the way to go. Unless you want to do something like a mohawk, and, you know, hey, then you got to be glued. Remember, got to be glued is the one. Okay, and I will stop waffling at that point. So, good night, America, wherever you are.